And we have a special guest right at the top of the show because he's in Japan and God knows what day or time it is there. So we had to get him on right at the top here. But virtuoso guitarist, the great Marty Friedman, is joining us on That Rocks. Marty, what's happening, buddy? Good to see you.
What's happening, Eddie? Nice to meet you guys. This is totally cool to be able to chat with you guys. How y'all doing?
Good. What time is it over there? Or what day?
It's I'm in the future, man. It's like 10 in the morning, whatever day is after your day over there.
So
Okay,
you're
so
on Thursday.
Yeah. Hey, I know you want to talk about my stuff, but before we do, can I talk about you guys' stuff a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm like such a huge fan of your telemarketer stuff. It's not even funny. I listen to that stuff all the time. I swear to God, I have so many questions to you guys about it. Can you guys answer my questions?
Of course. Yeah. Sure.
Let's do it.
Well, the first question, I love it when you guys like tag team and you're both on the line at the same time. Now, is that stuff like all improvised? Or do you have like a concept, okay, this time I'm going to be this situation? Or do you have anything like worked out? Or is it like you just do it on the spot? It's just absolutely unbelievable to me.
Well, first of all, half the time I have to put my roommate Eddie Trunk on the phone. We always use Eddie's name.
I have nothing to do with the whole thing, Marty. I'm not
I know.
in any way, but somehow
But we throw Eddie's name in. We have to give him, so we get, like, first of all, if you say to a telemarketer, I'm going to put my roommate on, he might know more. Why would you say his full name? You wouldn't, but I have to get my friends' names in always. Yeah, my friend Eddie Trunk, my roommate, I'm just going to put him on. But usually we kind of have like a concept maybe, but we don't know what they're going to say. So we have to pretty much react off of what they're doing.
Yeah, but are that many? Do they so many telemarketers call you all the time that you're just always sitting there ready for a call? How does that work?
Yeah. We got nothing going on in our lives. We just sit there and wait.
Like you're there and you're totally ready in the moment to answer it. It's so unbelievable to me.
Well, Marty, if you were sitting around 4 hours waiting to go to work, you'd be ready too when that phone rang. Sometimes the phone doesn't ring for like 4 hours. Me and Don are just sitting there staring at each other. We go, we got to get girlfriends. We got to get wives. We got nothing going on.
My favorite one of all time. Is the one where like somebody's trying to sell you a walk-in shower.
Oh yeah.
And you're talking about you guys are trying to save water, so you're like taking a bath together. It's so fucking unbelievable. And like my helmet touched his, and it was awkward and shit like that.
Yeah, that one's called Tub or something. Yeah. We came up. We didn't know what they were going to call about. So we said, I'll get Don on the line and let's just kind of figure this out. We'll wing it. So, yeah, the woman's like, hey, you need a new bathroom, vanity or something installed. We're like, yeah, we're trying to save water. And then it kind of knew, we'll shower together and it's weird.
And the neighbor comes over and showers sometimes with us.
How do you guys do that without laughing? How do you do it without laughing? I guess it's a pro thing, right?
Yeah, it's,
we turn our backs to each other.
Sometimes we have to turn our backs to each other so we don't look at each other because sometimes we'll start laughing. Like there was one we said, hold on, let me put my brother on the phone. We had an idea. As soon as they ask any kind of question, I'll go, hold on, let me put my brother on the phone. And then when they asked you, bring it back to me, went back and forth. That one we had to go back to back. We couldn't look each other in the face because we started laughing.
It's just so much
Marty.
Interplay in you guys, man. I just huge fan.
I appreciate
Can
that.
Can you guys hear me right now?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm not hearing myself. So Marty, have you ever seen the video stuff they do called Meet the Creeps? Have you ever seen that?
No. There's videos of that stuff.
Yeah, you guys have to get in Meet the Creeps. And by the way, my favorite bit that they did was just ripped off by a Geico commercial, an insurance commercial. I'm sure you guys have seen that, right, Don and Jim?
Yeah.
Where with the grated cheese and all that, they just subbed the pepper out. But you got to see the video stuff, Marty. There's a whole video series of DVDs and stuff.
Oh, I'm going to look right into that, man. That totally saves my life on the road. It saves my sanity. Just the interplay between you guys is just so spotless. It's like it's like a perfect interplay between two musicians improvising and just nailing each other's, like you're reading each other's mind. It's really, really impressive. I love it. Just love it.
Yeah, we've been friends for like 30 years, so we're always hanging around each other. And we do that whether we're recording a conversation or not, just mess with people, just real deadpan and dry, so they don't think we're messing with them. So we I don't know, we just have that same Jersey kind of sense of humor that we're just kind of like dicks. But but the Meet the Creep stuff is hidden camera. We go around with a hidden camera and we bother people. So that's a little different than the telemarketer stuff. But I think you'll enjoy it too.
I will be looking right into that.
We're the Friedman Mustaine of prank calls.
Yeah.
Hey, Marty, do you remember when you were on our TV show, the three of us, because you did it via there was no Zoom then, but you did it on a screen, and we brought you because you were in Japan, and we were doing it because the three of us did a TV show together, a rock talk show together called That Metal Show for years, and we had you on, and I remember we brought you in via video, and the other guest at the time was Leslie West, because I remember Leslie West was asking me about you and asking me about your background as a player and all of that. So I mean, we did over 100 episodes. I don't remember all of them, but I do remember that because Leslie, of course, since passed away. But I remember we had you both on the show. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is one of the ways that we all came together to do that show is because I sent VH1 a video, one of the videos that they did with the Meet the Creeps thing.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check right into that, man. I just love that stuff, and I love how it's like improvised, and it's just so clever. I mean, I remember the first time I discovered prank calls, and it's a funny story because it was way, way back in the day, and I was at this party in LA with Rocky George from Suicidal, and for some reason we both decided to go to the liquor store to get some more beer, whatever. This is a million years ago. And we get in his car and he turns on the cassette player and suddenly I can say any kind of words. Is there any kind of
Nope.
No restriction.
We get into his car, he turns the thing on and he's like kind of mumbling to himself. And he's like, your mother is a motherfucker. Your sister is a cunt. You're a fucking shit, fucking motherfucking. And he's like saying it in tandem with the tube bar. You know the tube bar, right? The red tape.
Yeah.
He's saying it like in time with the tape. I thought he was having a fucking mental breakdown, but he's actually mimicking those. Your mother's a fucking cunt. He's mimicking these things in real time. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, totally, maybe this guy's having some kind of mental problem. And he plays me this tape. Dude, you got to hear this stuff. I'm going to make you a tape of this. He made me a tape of the tube bar stuff. And then like the Jerky Boys and all that stuff. And he just kept sending me these tapes. And we were so enthusiastic about it that I just got caught up with it. And I just find it hilarious, man. I just find it hilarious. So when I heard your telemarketer stuff, guys who really deserve to be pranked more than anyone in the world, it's just so cool, man. And I'm just so glad to meet you guys. And just big fanboy right here.
We appreciate that, man.
Yeah, likewise. And so Marty, for our next album, don't be surprised if the first call comes on and Jim says, hold on, let me put my roommate Marty Friedman on the phone.
Dude, I will be honored. I heard you do Danko Jones on there before.
Yeah.
And I will be honored. I will be honored if you do that.
Good. Take the heat off of everybody else a little bit. Let Marty take the bullets.
Yeah, I mean, it's pure prose, because when I'm listening to this stuff, it's like, how can you say you're on the phone? It's like, I'm sorry, I'm taking a dump. How can you say that without cracking up? I mean, that must be like what professional comedians are like. They can do that. But us normal people, I couldn't say that without fucking dying laughing. So it's just it's such a gold. It's a treasure trove of gold stuff, man.
Eddie's been around us long enough. He knows that we don't break character. We're constantly busting balls. We used to go to L.A. to film that metal show. We get off the plane, and you know those guys like the limo drivers holding a sign that would say Friedman, and you go over to him, and he's your driver. So it would say Friedman. I'm like, oh, yeah, right here, Friedman. We point to Eddie. And he's like, I'm not Friedman. I go, he is. He's a big star. He doesn't want anyone to know, so just keep it quiet. The guy's following us all the way to baggage, waiting for us. I go, he's Friedman. He's like, I'm not Friedman. I go, he is. Just keep it down. He doesn't want anyone to know he's on a new TV show. And the guy's standing there. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm not Friedman. These guys are assholes. They're assholes. It's so funny.
Marty, it's a lot of work to be friends with these guys. It's a lot of work.
I just want a couple days. I want to try it for a couple days.
Yeah, you get tired of it quick. Trust me. You really would. It wears off real quick. Oh my God! And then they start farting on you, and it's just one thing after another. It's just crazy. Man.
I need some of that in my life, man.
We're a bunch of guys in our late 50s who are like children still. It's ridiculous. It really is. Anyway, man. No, it doesn't. So, with the time we have with you, let's discuss what's going on with you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm good now. We can let Marty go.
I'm tired of talking about myself all the time.
Go ahead. But you've made a very concerted effort in the last few years to work more in America. It seems like ever since relocating to Japan, I've seen you live a couple times. Phenomenal shows. You've toured here a number of times. You did I think you did a support run recently. I don't know if you were with Queensryche or what it was, but you've been over here quite a bit. You've made some great records. So, how did it come to be that you decided to focus on your roots back here in America a little bit more in recent years?
Well, yeah, there was a point like in the mid 2010s, like 2014 or 15, where I was just so incredibly busy in Japan that I'd completely thrown away the idea of ever caring about playing anywhere else, because I was completely content. I had more work than I was turning down, more work than I could even imagine. And then I got a call from someone at back then at Prosthetic Records, and they said, look, metal's becoming more popular again. A lot of these younger guys are mentioning you as an influence, and a lot of their fans don't know who they are. They just hear your name and they're like, you're some dude who fucked off and went to Japan. And that a lot of their young idols are like mentioning. And so there's kind of a focus on you now. So if you were to like release something in America now, a lot of ears would be on it. And I kind of took that to heart, and I released an album called Inferno, which was probably my heaviest album at the time. And it got wonderful, wonderful response. Rolling Stone, Grammy.com, all the places that normally wouldn't give me the time of day. And then I just started coming back to America every year, and all the other territories, South America, Europe, and Australia, and all that. And so I decided that I'm going to spread myself a little bit thinner and play everywhere. And it's just been a wonderful experience. And I continue to do much more. And my new record is worldwide. I'm going to tour worldwide for it. And it just kind of all started then. I pretty much gave up on it because I was completely happy here in Japan. Still am, but just watching the response from other places is really kind of giving me a new lease on life elsewhere too.
Well, the new album is called Drama. I believe it's out on the 17th. There's the front cover of the album. So, Marty, how do you feel? I've listened to a lot of your instrumental stuff. How do you feel this one differs from Inferno or some of the other ones, besides having some vocals on there?
Yeah, this album is the whole entire concept it's a ballad album. It's all ballads, and it's all orchestral, romantic. It's all the things you wouldn't expect from someone who's known to be a heavy metal guitarist. But as you all know, as much as we are a super heavy metal on the outside, on the inside, there's this like mushy core. We want to get romantic like the next guy. And I've just really really deep into that And I did this once before on an album called Scenes, and that may be the one album that people comment to me most about. It's very melancholy. It's very tear-jerker melodies. It's very sad. It's very uplifting at the same time. It's the type of thing where I'm trying to like evoke tears or chills or what do you call it, goosebumps and those type of things. So it's a very emotional album. It's not a heavy metal album. There's one song that's sort of heavy metal, and the only reason that's even there is to make all the ballads sound more balladish. But if you're a fan of my ballad work, I think it's by far the best and most evolved ballad work I've ever done, and it's labor of love, something that I'm very proud of.
Is it because you put out the one a few albums ago you said were mostly ballads that you got a lot of good feedback on, you decided to do it again?
Well, that was a long time ago, and I don't really want to be nostalgic and repeat something I've done before, but I do take people's opinions in my mind. They're always in there, and I always know that people say, when are you going to do another album like Scenes? When are you going to do another album like Scenes? It's like, well, I'm not going to be a nostalgic act and repeat something I've done, but I can do a very much evolved version of that with all of the life experiences and knowledge and skill and all that other stuff that I've accumulated since then. And so I think if you did like the Scenes album, I would assume that you would really, really like this one, because it's just a much, much better version of that, in my opinion. I just love it, and I'm so happy with it. It really wouldn't bother me if no one else liked it, because I'm so pleased with it myself.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, any artist will tell you that you got to love what you're doing first and foremost, and that's
True.
really the key. You also, it was recently announced that you've written an autobiography that's coming out a little later on this year. Why
Yes.
now was the right time for you to tell your story? Because even from a fan perspective, you've been a pretty private guy outside of obviously your music and the stuff that's public. But tell me what you wanted to accomplish with this book and why now was the right time to do it.
Well, exactly. I mean, I've always kept my private life completely out of media, even in the Japan media, where I'm much more visible than in America. I've kept like private things to myself and kept everything always about the topic at hand, whatever that be, whatever the program is about or whatever I'm releasing or whatever. So it's never really been terribly personal. But at the same time, every person has a deep personal story behind everything. And I've been working on an autobiography for years. And when it started to take shape and become something real, I started to look for publishers who were interested. And I found an absolutely excellent publisher that got excited about it. And when we started working on it, it just became this monster of a project, way beyond anything I'd imagined it being. And I think a lot of your fans are going to enjoy it, because it's got so much deep details about, the metal life that I've lived before I went over to Japan, and the metal life now, but like the real deep private relationship details between myself and all the other band members from all my bands, and all of the management things and life things that people don't see when they just see you on stage, or they hear the records, or they read the interviews. There's like serious life stuff that you would only be comfortable talking about in a complete tell-all autobiography. And even then, I'm not even sure if I'm comfortable saying it, but I said, if I'm going to do this, the main criteria is going to be, all of this stuff is not stuff from interviews, and all of this stuff is going to be stuff that's very private and very true. And of course, I have no agenda at this age. The only thing I'm promoting is this drama record, which takes up about maybe 4 sentences of the autobiography. So the whole thing is just very deep and detailed into things that I think that no one really knows, because maybe I haven't really been that vocal about in the past.
Yeah, and you could do the audiobook in English and Japanese all on your own, I guess.
I could. I'm just so not into the idea of doing that. I dread the day when they say, okay, we want you to do the audiobook, because I listen to these books and it just
It's
seems like
coming.
a ton of work. It seems like I've done voiceover stuff. I've done voiceover stuff for a lot of TV shows in Japan, and just 1.5 hour show takes friggin' forever. So I'm just thinking an entire book of, I think it's like 150,000 words, just dreading that. So I'm hoping that like AI can clone my voice and do it for me, because I'm not looking forward to doing that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put a book out. I think it was like 260 pages. It took me like 4 8-hour shifts and another 4 hours. So we're talking what,
Really?
32 hours in a studio
Really?
reading from the book. Brutal.
32 hours.
Yeah.
I did one chapter for somebody else's book that asked me to read it for him as like a guest. And it was like, yeah, because you mess up and you're like, do I have to stop? Can I blow by that? Who cares if it's agonizing, but your publisher is probably going to ask you to do it because they've become pretty big things. So the thing I did, I put out 2 books in the past and I just did 50% photos in both of them. So it wasn't worth doing an audiobook. Made it easy.
Yeah,
Well,
put a lot of pictures in your book, Marty.
Yeah, there are a lot of pictures, but let me ask you a question about that. When you were doing the voiceover and you're reading it, and it's like, did you want to update things as you were going? Did you like think I could say this better or with a different expression, or was it like strict to the bone? How did you approach that?
The book company wanted it strict to the bone. There's other people I've known that they let them just riff, and it doesn't have to be word for word. They wanted mine word for word. If I messed up one word, I have to go back, start again, all that. So that's why it probably took me longer. But you know, I'm sure your book company would be okay. Just say, look, I want to be casual with it. I'm not going to, repeat every word in it. If I riff a little bit, it's going to be fine. So it should take you less time.
Yeah, but you know what's cool? I've actually not listened to any audiobooks, but I hear from a lot of my listeners on my radio show that tell me how much they like them. And one of the things apparently that you can do, which would be great for your book, I'm sure, is that say you're talking about like a demo you made back in 1987 or something like that. If you have that demo, you can actually drop in like a 10-second clip of the song or whatever into the audiobook. So you can actually cut in, or whoever does it can cut in audio of things that you actually have the rights to and put it in there, which makes it pretty interesting. I've not heard that myself, but a lot of people have told me that a lot of books do that as far as like an added value thing.
That's a sick idea, man. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Jim and I could do a few chapters, and we could sneak some prank calls in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it becomes a whole different thing then.
Yeah.
You guys to riff on my book, I'm telling you right now.
So Marty, are you going to tour for drama in the U.S.?
Yeah, I'm planning to tour everywhere for it. I just did some Asian festivals, and I'm doing a show in Tokyo, but probably do a European tour first and then do America. But all of that stuff is still in the working stage right now. So like, do check my social media for that. And I'm not gonna make another record for a long time, so I'm gonna be touring on this for quite some time. And so please check for that. I'm really looking forward to playing this stuff live, and the little experience that I have with playing this stuff live already right now, it's a new, wonderful, wonderful experience. I think people are going to dig it.
I got one last thing, and then I don't know what the other guys have, but you recently played with Megadeth recently, right? You got up and guested with them not too long ago and did a few songs. What was that like for you? And we haven't had a chance to talk to you about it, but I know to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the past, you've seemed almost a little, not resistant, but you kind of wanted to maybe move on from that a little bit and not deal with the whole Megadeth thing. But you went back and you got up there and played. So how did it feel? Was there a sense of closure there, or what were what was your feelings going into that, and how do you feel coming out of it?
Well, that what you just said is kind of like the understatement of the century, because of course, once I left Megadeth, the tag ex Megadeth was stuck to my name, and I understood that for like about a year or two. And then I really, really wanted to cut that out because I was no longer in Megadeth and I was doing my own thing, doing other things not related to Megadeth at all. So from about 2002 or three, I just made it a strict rule that any kind of media, when they published whatever they're doing, no ex Megadeth next to my name. Just don't put it in the headline. Don't put my name with Megadeth, former Megadeth. All of that stuff was like a very, very strict rule. Of course, as you all know, in the media, they tend to ignore those rules about 90% of the time. They ignored that a lot, but then as time went on, it started to get less and less, and I started to feel better about it. And then, like in the mid 2010s, a lot of places stopped completely putting that next to my name, because there was nothing I was doing even remotely related to Megadeth. So why put it in there? Of course, sometimes they even still do it now, and it's just really, really bugs the shit out of me because it's not doing Megadeth any favors either. It's not doing me any favors. It's like 25 years ago. They have their own band, and I'm the biggest fan of their band, and my thing is completely different from theirs. So, but sometimes you can't control what the media does. But, that still doesn't mean that I don't have a lot of love and respect for the band. Of course I do. I just, we're both doing separate things. So when the opportunity to play with Megadeth again at Budokan, that was just a wonderful, wonderful bit of closure, like you said, for me and Dave, because, we're have been always on good terms, even since I was out of the band. Since I left the band in 2000, we've been on good terms. There's absolutely no bad blood between us. But I think the one bit of unfinished business that we had was when I was in the band, we had an opportunity to play Budokan. It never happened. And that was the one tiny thing that was left between myself and Dave. We're both big rock fans. We grew up with rock, and live at Budokan is a dream. When you play music and you're in a band, like all of the bands that we're fans of, playing at Budokan is like, it's a cheap trick at Budokan. All the big albums for Budokan, Kiss at Budokan, and Rock and Roll Over Tour, and all that stuff. So Dave and I really had that seed in our hearts ever since we were kids. And since we couldn't make it happen when we first had been booked for Budokan, that little thing was always left. And so when Dave asked me to play it with him in 2023, I felt it was a very nice gesture on his part. And I jumped at the chance to do it. I loved it. Playing together was as comfortable as it was back then. And to be honest, I think the band sounded better than it did when I was originally in the band. I don't know if it was because there was 3 guitars on stage instead of 2, but it just sounded wonderful. And it was kind of also a love letter to the Japanese fans who, wanted to see this moment as much as the two of us did. So it was a wonderful thing all around. And like I said, there was never any bad blood between me and Megadeth. It's just I'm me and they're them, and I'm the biggest fan of theirs and will always support them. It was a fantastic part of my career.
Was that the first time you saw Dave since you left the band? Since you've been over in Japan?
We actually got together once in, I think it was 2014 or 15, when we talked. We had a meeting in LA where we talked about possibly reuniting the Rust in Peace lineup. And that didn't happen. And all of the details of that will definitely be in my book. But it was still wonderful to see him then and see the entire band then. It just didn't materialize for several reasons. But yeah, we've been in touch sometimes, like by email, talking about certain things. But in person, I hadn't seen him in many years, and we hadn't played together since the last time I played with him in Megadeth. So it was wonderful to share the stage together. And he came on this little YouTube thing I do in Japan, and we had a really nice chat. And it was just nice to kind of be back in the band for like several hours. You know, it was it's like being with an ex-girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What did you play? What songs?
Oh, well, you got
Must
me
have been
there. I know we
Tornado.
played Tornado of Souls. We played once again at Wacken Open Air in Germany several months later, because we both happened to be on the bill at the same time. Tornado of Souls, Symphony of
Holy
Destruction.
Wars?
We played Holy Wars in Germany. We played Holy Wars in Germany, and we played Countdown to Extinction in Japan. And yeah. Fans might correct me on this, but that's what I think we played.
Oh, you know they will if you got anything wrong in 2 seconds.
We're the best.
We're
man.
on the internet.
I can tell you
We're on the
about
internet
Megadeth
after
fans.
all.
Megadeth fans are super. I love the way they are so detailed and they know everything, and I just love it because I was the same exact way about my favorite bands as a kid. So when I see Megadeth fans, it totally warms my heart because they know everything and always appreciate their support.
Yeah.
Hey, Marty, before we let you go, because obviously, again, the new album Drama is out. It's a mostly instrumental album. There are 2 songs that have a vocal on them. And I always ask instrumentalists this is, what's the method to your madness in terms of giving a song a title? You know, like why is a song called Illumination and not Grandma Has a Slice of Pizza? Like, how do you ever come up with a title when there's no words to go by?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'm sure there's a lot of colorful answers from other guys. I usually keep a log of potential titles, word combinations that I'm drawn to, that I like, that I think might represent something I might write in the future. So I just have like books of this stuff. And once a song starts taking shape, it has a working title for like almost the entire process. And sometimes during the process, one of the songs from my book, one of the song titles from the book seems like it would fit this song for whatever reason. And then I just pair it up. But usually there's a working title that all of the musicians and engineers know better than the actual real title when the album comes out.
Gotcha.
Well, it's good to see you, man, and we appreciate you taking some time there in the morning in Japan. And man, I've never been to Japan, but one of these days I really want to get over there and visit, and I'm going to look you up if I ever get over there.
Oh my God! Have either
Is there
you
a
two
big
guys?
metal? Don or
What's
Jim,
that?
have you ever gone to Japan?
Not, I never have either. No.
Nope.
Oh, when you guys come out, I'm definitely going to show you guys around. I'm kind of afraid of what you guys are going to do. I have a very squeaky clean image over here.
You should be.
Very squeaky, a very clean image over here. And I'm kind of afraid that you guys are going to mar that. But if it has to get marred, I would love it to be marred by you guys.
Your concern is warranted. Your concern
it
is
is.
very warranted, Marty. Yeah.
I can't make any
hit me up.
promises.
If you ever have a chance to come to Japan, do not hesitate to hit me up. All right. I'm right here in downtown Tokyo. We'll party.
How do you say bail money in Japanese?
Bail money. Bail money. I don't think they have bail money here. Once you're in jail, you're done.
Yeah, we better stay in the States then.
Yeah, that explains it. That explains why they didn't go.
Yeah.
Good seeing you, man, and good luck with the record, and look forward to reading the book when it comes out. Thanks for the time.
Thank you very much. Anytime, man. Anytime.
Thanks, Marty.
You guys so much. Thanks.
See you guys when you get to the U.S.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you, Marty.
Take
I
care.
appreciate you. Thanks.
Take care, man.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Very cool.
There goes, everybody. Marty Friedman. Look at that. Fanboy of the telemarketer stuff. For you
I
guys.
know.
That's cool.
Hey, thanks for watching that clip. If you liked it, here are a few more you might like. And if you want to support the show, consider hitting the join button and becoming a channel member to unlock exclusive bonus content.